Hi, my name is Samantha and I will be going over the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act. A brief description of what I will be going over is the definition of Foreign Corrupt Practice Act and its background, three major parts of the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, a Foreign Corrupt Practice Act case example with Walmart Incorporated. Who and what is covered by the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act? To affirmative defenses in 1988 and proper and improper gifts. The Foreign Corrupt Practice Act was established in 1977. It was enforced after the Securities and Exchange Commission exposed hundreds of companies paying foreign officials to gain access in their country. This act applies to all U.S. citizens. It forbids those people in making bribes to foreign and U.S. officials, also to keep certain types of people from being able to make payments or bribe foreign government officials in order to control certain entities in other countries. It also requires companies to keep accurate bookkeeping and track of all assets going in and out of the company to verify that no bribes are being taken in order to gain that access into the company. The Foreign Corrupt Practice Act is overseen by the Securities and Exchange Commission and also the Department of Justice. Three major parts of the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act are: 1. It requires the keeping of accurate books, records, and accounts by each corporation or business. Everyone must register with the Securities and Exchange Commission for them to know that they are following the rules of the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act. They keep account of all money transactions in the company. Any red flags will signal them to search further into that company if need be. 2. Requires issuers registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission to maintain a responsible internal accounting control system, so then they can maintain control over the firm's assets. 3. Prohibits bribery of American corporations to foreign officials. By keeping the above accounts under view, they are able to know if any bribes are being made to foreign officials with a secret cash or hidden account. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has a special unit assigned directly to the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act, watching over all companies to establish their credibility. The Commission closely watches companies and that they are following the rules of the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act. They enforce any civil or criminal actions necessary to anyone or any company involved in corruption practices against the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act. The Securities and Exchange Commission also works jointly with the Department of Justice. Walmart had a rapid growth in its company by not following the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act. For example, in 1991, Walmart opened its first foreign market in Mexico. Later, following in 1993, their headquarters was established in Arkansas, in the United States. By 2010, Walmart was operating in 14 foreign countries. So from 2000 to 2011 started the investigation when China requested the Foreign Corrupt Practice Act training third-party intermediaries and joint venture partners. When Walmart did not produce such items, the Securities and Exchange Commission then got involved. Also during this time, Walmart only had a single paragraph for their anti-corruption policy in the ethics section. By March 2005, they distributed a new anti-corruption policy to its foreign marketers, but it was then put on hold in November 2005 for other reasons. later divulging that they were not keeping accurate books or records with their foreign companies and that a joint venture was paid off. They also hired third-party intermediaries, which are TPIs, to pay government officials in order to gain access to foreign markets and set up Walmarts there. Later, Walmart offered to pay a settlement to the Securities and Exchange Commission, but also another settlement to the Department of Justice, making a total of more than $282 million in settlement fees. By 2011, Walmart had their new one-page anti-corruption standards policy that was implemented to all U.S. and foreign subsidiaries. Later, Walmart had hired companies stateside and foreign to test their new policy set in place, making sure now that they are following the rules of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Next, who and what is covered. The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act covers U.S. officials and any company in America that does business overseas and companies that do business in America. Foreign government officials, publicly traded companies, and their officers, directors, employees, stockholders, and agents. Also, third-party agents, consultants, distributors, and joint venture partners will be covered. Then in 1998, the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act expanded its coverage to foreign nationals and expanded beyond the U.S. borders for more coverage. The Act also covers any type of payment made to anyone knowingly making that payment to a foreign official. In 1988, Congress added 2 affirmative defenses to the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act of 1977. It was signed into law as Title V of the Omnibus Trade and Competitiveness Act. These defenses were not put in place to change the original intent of the law. First states that no criminal charge will be forced upon anyone if they are not knowingly attempting to break the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. That means fabricating any records, accounts, bookkeeping, or calculations for that business. Amended the 1977 Act to forbid payments of any official. They kept the knowing requirements of the Act, but then let go of the recklessly disregarding standard for the 1988 affirmative defenses. Lastly will be the proper and improper gifts. There's a fine line between proper and improper gifts given to individuals to achieve something in return. There are a few expectations to abide by when giving gifts. First, let's look at proper gifts given to individuals. Small amounts of money are okay. For example, gift cards and just small amounts of money on the gift cards. Travel and lodging when the person has incurred it with that business. Gifts given bona fide, a gift that was given with sincerity or good faith and not expecting something in return. A gift to show gratitude for one's new business, symbolizing a congratulations. Then there are grease payments, which is a payment to advance the process of a shipment through customs, for example. Also, charitable contributions when acting in good faith and not to gain control are also proper gifts to give. Next are improper gifts, which would be large cash sums, expensive or extravagant gifts, for example, a vacation to the Caribbean islands or a large attraction in the United States like Disneyland. A promise to pay the amount asked for by the corrupt official. Any bribe or a value given to an official that will persuade them to do what is wanted of them to gain control or access to those entities.